Okay, very good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed about some of the basics of file system. There, we have seen that we can have two types of files called structured files and byte stream files. So, actually, structured files, they are collection of records. In case of structured file, the information is stored as collection of record. So record in turn consists of fields. Say for example, if I consider student as a record, to store student information, I might be using the fields like roll number, name of the student, USN, marks of the student, and so on. So actually, one record means it completes one student information. One record means it consists of one complete student information. Okay. A record may consist of different fields, and field in turn it contains one data item. And after that, we discussed about byte stream files. As the name itself indicates, in case of byte stream files, everything is viewed as collection of bytes. So byte stream files, they won't differentiate the data value. Everything will be viewed simply as a sequence of bytes. And after that, we discussed about the different file operations that can be carried out by using file system management. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the file system organization. So here, the file system can be organized into three different methods. For organizing the file system, we have three methods. One is we call it as sequential access file organization, direct access file organization, and index sequential access file organization. We have totally three file system organization techniques: sequential access file organization, direct access file organization, and index sequential access file organization. We'll discuss these file system organization techniques one by one. Okay, first we are going to start with sequential access file organization. So in this case, as the name itself indicates, the records of the file, they need to be stored either in ascending or descending order based on some key value. Here in case of sequential access file organization, the records of the file, they are stored either in ascending or descending sequence according to the key field. Okay, assume that you have a record which consists of many of the fields, but we use one of the field as key field. Say for example, if you consider student information, we can assume that roll number is the key field. You can organize all the student information based on the roll number. You can arrange the student records based on the roll number. Okay. Here that roll number can be considered as a key field. And as the name indicates, in case of sequential access file organization, the records can be accessed sequentially. You cannot directly access, say, middle record. It is not possible to access randomly any record. If you want to access any record, you must have to move sequentially. Remember, students, all these file records, they are stored on the disk. They are stored on the hard disk. So whenever you want to access any of the information, you have to move sequentially for accessing any of the information. Say for example, you assume that you have some employee information and the employee IDs may be 1, 2, 4, 10, 12. You can observe that these employee records, they are arranged in ascending order based on ID of the employees. Suppose if you want to access the 10th employee record, you must have to move sequentially. Directly you can't access the 10th record in case of sequential access file organization. And here these sequential access files, they support two kind of operations. Either you can read the next record or you can read the previous record. Suppose if you are at record number 4 Either you can go to the previous one, that is record number 2, or otherwise you can go to the next record 10. So you cannot directly go to some random record. So it is possible to read or write the next or previous record. That's why we name it as sequential access. And it permits one more operation called skip next. You can skip a particular record, or you can skip next or even previous record. The applications of this sequential access can be found where data is pre-sorted into ascending or descending order. Such type of file system can be used where data is already organized either in ascending or descending order based on some key field. And particularly for byte stream files, we can make use of sequential access file organization. Students, remember, in case of sequential file access organization, the records, they must be stored either in ascending or descending order based on the key field. And as the name indicates, here the records can be accessed sequentially. You cannot access any record randomly. You must have to move sequentially to access any of the record. And we can find two kind of operations: read the next or previous record, or skip the next or previous record. And these type of file systems, they can be used when the data is pre-sorted either in ascending or descending order, or they are also suitable for byte stream files. The next we have direct access file organization. Students, can you think what is the problem with sequential access? The problem is it consumes time. Directly you can't access 10th record, or directly you can't access 15th record. It is not possible. That's why we have one more file organization which is known as direct access files. So the direct access files, as the name indicates, they allow to access the records in the random fashion. You can access any of the record directly. You need not to move sequentially, right? Here, usually what happens is the hard disk consists of a head. By using that head, you can access any of the records. So in case of direct access file organization, directly you can move to the any record randomly. Hence, it provides better convenience and also efficiency during file processing. Such files, they are also called as direct access files. The files which we use this way, they can also be referred to as direct access files. So in this case, to perform read or write command, we use a key field. We use the key field, and based on this key field, the address of that location on the disk is generated. Students, try to understand. While performing read or write operation in case of direct access files, we need to specify the key field. Based on the key field, the file system is going to generate the address of the location on the disk to access that particular record. Okay, I'll give some example. You assume that you have stored student information. You have stored student information where for each student, assume that it requires 10 bytes. For each student, you may require 10 bytes. Suppose if I want to access the first record will be finding from 1 to 10 bytes. The second record will be available from 11th location to 20th location, and so on. So based on the key field, the operating system is going to find the location of that record in case of direct access file organization. Say for example, if I want to access third record, what can be done is, as I told, for each record we require 10 bytes. 3 into 10, 30, right? So third record will be available from locations 21 to 30, like that. First record 1 to 10, second record 11 to 20, third record can be accessed from the location 21 to 30 bytes. Like that, by using the key field, we find out the location of that record in the direct access file organization. This is the concept we use. Again, if you consider direct access file organization, there are some limitations or disadvantages. One of the main disadvantage is to calculate the record address, it consumes some CPU time. As I told, to find out that particular record, here it performs some calculation based on the key value. So to compute that address, certainly the CPU requires some time. So this is one of the limitation we have in case of direct access files. And also in case of direct access files, we need to store some dummy records. Say for example, as I told, for each record we require 10 bytes, so that all the records must exist. Assume that you don't have third record, but however you have to store 10 additional bytes. You have to store that third record as a dummy record. Even though if it is not required, you must have to allocate some space. That's why the author says that some recording capacity of the disk is wasted, because we need to store dummy records to access the locations based on some calculation. Then the dummy records exist for key values that are not in use. So this is all about direct access file organization. Remember students, in case of direct access file organization, the records of the file can be accessed randomly. You can directly access any of the record randomly. So hence, it provides better convenience and also efficiency for processing of the files. Such files, they are also referred to as direct access files. So in this case, the read and write command, whatever we use, there we use some key field. Based on the key field, the address of the record is generated. Some calculation is used, right? The disadvantage is that to calculate the address, CPU consumes some time. Some time is spent while calculating address of that particular record. And also, in the case of direct access files, we need to store some dummy records. Even though if third record is not existing, as calculation is based on the number of bytes, some dummy records need to be stored. And these dummy records, they require to obtain the address based on the key values. The next, students, we have index sequential file organization. So in the first case, we have seen that the records, they are accessed sequentially one by one. That is in case of sequential access files. In case of direct access files, we observed that the address of the particular record is calculated based on the key value. On the other hand, we have what is known as index sequential file organization. Here, the concept is very simple. The operating system is going to maintain the index of the records. To find the location of the record directly, the operating system will maintain an index. Index, it is something like the contents. Students, assume that you have a textbook, right? Every textbook is going to have the contents. What you are going to observe in the contents, they specify chapter number and the page number, right? That is nothing but we can say index. I can directly go to that chapter by finding the index. Similarly, in case of index files, we use the record number and its address in a table called index table. So again, if you consider these index files, we can say that it is the hybrid organization It is the hybrid organization that combines both sequential and indexed file organization system. So once again, in index sequential files, we can have pure indexed organization and index sequential organization. We can have pure indexed organization and index sequential organization. So in case of pure indexed organization, the index table is maintained like this: the key value and the address of that record on the disk. Students, try to understand. Here what we do is, in case of pure indexed organization, for each record we use a key value, and directly in the table we store the disk address. The advantage is that when the record is required, we need not to compute the address. Directly we can go to that address by using that index table. Say for example, I can store information such as the record number 1, say roll number 1 at first location, address can be 1, record number 2, say address 11, record number 3 at address 21, and so on. So in case of pure indexed organization, we use the key value and the disk address to store the records. But however, for large files, the index table size itself will be large, and it requires more time for searching. Try to understand, if the size of the file is large, suppose if you have 10,000 records, then how many index entries you have to store? You have to store entries for all the 1,000 records. You have to store information for all the 1,000 records. Renuka Kushner, switch off your microphone. You have to store information for all the 10,000 records. So again, it increases the searching time. Okay. In such case, we can use two-level indexing. The two-level indexing can be employed in case if you have very large database. Students, I will give an example. Assume that your index itself is say 50 pages. What can be done? Assume that you have very large textbook where the content sheet itself is 50 pages. So again, for searching the contents, it requires more time. The idea is we can add content to contents, that is index to index. Then we can go to that particular record, a particular page. So actually, such kind of concept we call it as two-level indexing. And on the other hand, we have one more solution for this when the size of the file is very large, or when the file contains large number of records. The second solution is we can use index sequential organization. So in case of index sequential organization, we use an index to identify particular section of the disk. And once we go to that location, the remaining records can be accessed sequentially. Students, the idea is like this. You maintain the key value and find out the location on the disk. But from that location, the remaining records can be accessed sequentially. Say for example, if I have 1,000 records, what can I do is, I'll store address of first record, I'll store address of first record, and I'll store address of 10th record, address of say 20th record, and so on. The advantage is that if you require 15th record, directly you go to address of 10th record. From there onwards, you can carry out sequential accessing to access 15th record. Such concept we call it as index sequential organization. I'll explain once again the concept. Here what we do is we store key value and address of a particular record. Once we go to that location, the remaining records can be accessed sequentially. So for example, we can store address of a bunch of 10 records at once. First, I'll store address of first record, address of 11th record, address of 21st record, and so on. Now, if I require address of 15th record, first I will go to address of 11th record, then I'll access sequentially that 15th record. Such concept we call it as index sequential file organization. That's why here the author says that index sequential organization employs index to identify section of the disk surface that may contain the record. The records in that section, they are then searched sequentially. It requires much less space as compared to pure indexed organization. The advantage is that the size of the index table reduces. That's why it requires less space to store that index table. So this is about index sequential file organization. Students, we have one small topic called access methods. So actually access method is nothing but a module. It's nothing but the function that exists in IOCS layer. So actually IOCS stands for input output control system. For every device, there exists a device driver. In the case of file system, as every data is stored on the hard disk, to access data from the disk, there exist small functions. These functions, they are called as access methods. So access method is IOCS module, means it's a function that implements access to class of files using specific file organization. So depending on the type of the file organization, we can implement the access to that particular record. So access methods means the functions which are written to access data from the disk. They might use some advanced IO techniques. To improve the efficiency, the access methods, they employ some advanced input-output techniques. We have two popular techniques. They are known as buffering of records and blocking of records. So these are the two advanced techniques which are used to access data from the disk. Remember students, accessing data from the disk will be slower operation. Always input-output device operations will be slower compared to memory, and the memory operations will be slower compared to CPU operations. So here to access data from the files, some of the techniques that are used are buffering of the records. So in case of buffering of the records of input file, they are read ahead of the time when the program requires. The idea is that when the program requires second record, we read even third record also in advance, and these records, they are stored in the memory area called buffers. The idea is that you read the records ahead of the process. If process requires say 10th record, you read even 11th record also, and you store it in some memory space called buffers. The advantage is that when the 11th record is required, you need not to access the disk. Directly it can be taken from the buffers, because accessing data from the buffers will be faster as compared to accessing data from the disk. So it will reduce the waiting time of the program. Understand? Try to understand. In case of buffering of the records, the record of input file, they are read in advance and they are stored in the memory areas called buffers. The advantage is that when the process requires the next record, directly that record can be fetched from the buffers instead of reading that record from the disk. Because reading data from the disk, always it consumes more time as compared to reading data from the buffers. So this will also reduce the waiting time of the process. And we have the second option called blocking of the records. So in case of blocking of the records, a large block of data whose size is even more than the size of the record will be read in advance. In case of buffering of the records, only few records they are fetched in advance and they are stored in the buffers. But in case of blocking of the records, a large amount of block of data whose size exceeds the size of the record of the file is always read. It is read in advance, or also it is written onto while performing write operation. So it improves the efficiency and throughput of IO devices, because every time when the record is required, you need not to make disk access. You store in advance those records in the either buffers or in the blocks. The advantage is that it will speed up the operation. It is something like this, students. Assume that one fine day you want to eat an apple. So what is the option? To eat an apple, you have to go to the market by means of say auto or bus. You'll purchase the apple, then we'll bring it to the home, you'll enjoy it. But once again, if you feel hungry and you want to eat another apple, what you have to do is once again you have to go to the market, you have to spend some time, you'll buy the second apple and again you'll enjoy that apple. But instead of that, what can be done is when you go to the market, you buy a dozen of apples in advance and you keep them in the refrigerator and can be accessed any time when you require. Here also, disk is like a market. All the records they are stored on the disk. So once your disk is accessed, see that you get maximum records from that disk and store it in the buffer. So once they are available in the buffer, they can be accessed anytime when they are required. Because accessing data from the buffer will be faster as compared to accessing data from the disk. I hope you are understanding the concept.